This is News 8 Now at 6.
Remembering when the cops collared public enemy number one, when most of us wouldn't use an ATM, and what the GINNA nuclear power plant was almost named.
All made news this very week and decades past. Here's News 8 Now's Dave McKinley with News 8 Then.
10 years ago this week, and after 18 years of eluding capture, lawman acting on a tip from his own brother identified one Theodore Kaczynski as being the elusive Unabomber and arrested him at his remote cabin in Montana. Kaczynski avoided a potential death sentence by pleading guilty and today remains in prison with no hope for parole. Shock and grief for the Clinton administration.
He was a magnificent life force.
Commerce Secretary Ron Brown was killed in a plane crash while on a mission with several U.S. business executives seeking opportunities to rebuild the war-torn former Yugoslavia. Close to home.
It's sort of tradition that's going to be gone.
With plans to fly the coop to a new frontier the next year, the Rochester Red Wings held their home opener for the final time at Silver Stadium this week in 1996. 20 years ago this week, when you still wouldn't dare go work out without those leg warmers, most of us, about 60% in fact, were still not using ATMs.
They're afraid of that machine because they're afraid if they put a card in, the money might not come out.
Chase Lincoln First will offer free lottery tickets to anyone who agrees to watch an ATM demonstration, and another ticket to those who sign up for a card.
30 years ago this week, as the great distance runner Dick Berkeley was enshrined in the Section 5 High School Hall of Fame, the final push was on for votes among a crowded field of Democrats seeking to win that week's New York presidential primary. And although it would be Jimmy Carter who'd go on to win the party nomination, it was actually Scoop Jackson who won New York this week in 1976. Louise Slaughter, Rochester Mayor Tom Ryan, and Assemblyman Roger Robach were among the local contingent who supported Jackson. 40 years ago this week, leaders of Rochester Gas and Electric met to testify at a special hearing concerning their plans to build a nuclear power plant in Wayne County. They included board chairman Robert GINNA, whom most of you know the plant was eventually named after. But did you know that wasn't the original plan? This week's News 8 Then pop quiz: what was RG&E originally going to call its nuclear power plant on the shore of Lake Ontario? Back in those days, and long before Dick Clark, this was the man synonymous with bringing New Year's Eve from Times Square into your living room every year, NBC's Ben Grauer, who while in Rochester was a guest on the popular Tom Decker and Company program this week in 1966, and it was all News 8 Then.
This is News 8 Now.
Here's the answer to this week's News 8 Then pop quiz. We asked, what was RG&E going to name its nuclear power plant before deciding to name it after company chairman Robert GINNA?
Okay, now take a look right up near the top of your screen right there. The GINNA plant was originally going to be called the BROOKWOOD Nuclear Power Plant after the Wayne County hamlet of Brookwood in which it's built. The plant, which went online in 1969, cost $75 million to build. And Scott Murray, don't look, how much is that in today's dollars? $75 million in 1969.
Hold on, I'm estimating about $452 million.
Well, actually, Scott, you're right on. You must have peaked at my screen. Isn't that pretty incredible?
That is. That's like a gallon of gas now.